this reason, I'm telling you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe, trust, and be confident that it is granted to you, and you will get it. Mark 11, verse 24. Ladies and gentlemen, the table is set, God is present, and you are invited. Welcome to the men's table, where we discuss biblical manhood and we tackle issues affecting our society, but we use a biblical lens. I am your host, Mtumbali Tevele, and I'm joined with two brothers today. It's going to be a fun one. All right. Sir, introduce yourself to the people.
Hey, man. My name is Ekoyaba. I don't know if I'm supposed to add anything to that after that, but it's great to be here. You know, thanks for having me on the table, man. I appreciate this. Like what you're doing, man. Let's do this. So my name is Ekoyaba. I'm excited to be here and can't wait to have this conversation.
All right, that's dope. Sir.
All right. My name is Wanga Phiri. I don't really know how to introduce myself, but yeah.
Just get into it, man.
Thanks for having me on the show.
All right.
Yeah.
No, sir. Pleased to have you, man. Pleased to have
Definitely,
you. Pleased to have you. Let's have some fun. Echo. I'm gonna swing it back to you. I'm gonna swing it back to you.
Yeah.
Who's Echo, and how did he find Jesus, or how did Jesus find him?
Wow. You know, I've never really gotten to find like a definitive way of explaining how I found myself, you know, with Christ. But I do know that there's something that happened at one time in my life, sometime in 2009. I think I used to drink a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, I know this is something that some people would obviously, you know, look at me and sometimes even think, oh, this guy. Yeah, I used to drink a lot, and I remember going for a party with my friends. You know, just trying to have fun with the boys. We went out, and I think it was about the end of 2009 into 2010.
Okay.
Yeah, I went out with the boys. We're all hyper, you know, got drunk. I wasn't even like a heavy drinker. I was a one kind of a guy. Like I would have 1, 2, 3 bottles and that's it. It's not like I would take like so much and then like that's what defined me. No, I would just like maybe just take a little bit. I would what someone would refer to as a one piston guy.
Okay.
You know, it wouldn't take like so much alcohol for me to just get off. So I remember taking some.
You couldn't hold your liquor.
I don't know, you know, I don't know, like, I don't know, maybe if I wasn't just strong enough, but I would just take a few bottles and that's it.
It would knock you out.
And that was the type walk Savaila Sana, you know, like if I get drunk, I would be all up in the space of my friends, you know, I would be talking a lot, I would rap, I would diss people, bully people.
So you know, you didn't tell the people that you are a rapper, you're a marketing professional, and you're an entrepreneur, and you're on air at RCV.
Yeah, man. I mean, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So, I mean, just a little introduction on how I got myself to Christ. Back 2009, all I remember is drinking, heavy drinking that night. And then me and my friends got into a fight.
Okay.
We got into a fight at one of the malls right here in Lusaka.
Okay.
And then it just got so heated up. I remember one of my friends almost got locked up that night. And then the following day, I get home and I'm reflecting on my life, you know. I'm thinking to myself, what's really going on and what's happening? Is this really for me? Is this really what I want for myself? I grew up in a home where the whole idea of going to church was what was fancied. You know, like my mother would tell me to go to church.
Right.
My sisters, my cousins, you know, would tell me to go to church. But it wasn't really something that I liked or maybe thought I would take seriously. So I remember going for a holiday that very same week. somewhere on the Copper Belt. I went to visit, and then I met these guys who were so cool. They talk like me, they dress like me, but they had Jesus. They were cool in an eternal kind of a way. So I think me having to hang around those guys. At one time we went for a camp meeting, and somebody started talking about Jesus, and the next thing you know, I took it serious.
Okay.
I took it very serious. All I remember is when I came back, I went back to drinking again.
Was this one of those Bread of Life camps or?
No, it was a camp meeting for Victory Bible Church.
Victory Bible Church.
Yeah, in Kitwe.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I remember going for that camp meeting, and after the holidays, I came back to Lusaka. When I came back to Lusaka, someone who's like a very close friend, a family friend, we were studying, and I think his alarm was a song by Lecrae, "Take Me As I Am."
Would you
that?
take me as I am?
Ding, ding, ding. Yeah, so I'm sleeping, and then I hear that sound, and then it's sort of like what Lecrae was talking about in that song.
Yeah.
It's like he was narrating a story of someone that was just like me. I think that was it for me. When I heard that song, I was already thinking about my life. From the time that I was drinking, and at one point, my friends got into a fight. I go to the Copper Belt, I go to Kitwe, there's this camp meeting, I meet these guys who are really cool. And then I begin to fancy their swagger and how they do things. I get back home, I listen to this song by Lecrae. I'm like, God is trying to tell me something. And then I just reached a point where I just had to surrender my life to God and say, listen, I think, I don't know what's good for me, but let me trust and try to give this Jesus guy, a try. I think from there I made a decision, and that's how my life sort of like began. So in a nutshell, Echo is a very easygoing kind of guy. I'm a marketing personnel. Aside from that, some people have come across my music. I do music. I'm passionate about music. Aside from that, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm the business guy. Aside from that, I'm a brother, man. I'm a brother, and I'm also a radio personality here at Radio Christian Voice. So I think that's pretty much about me. There's so much that I could obviously say, but
I got you.
if I had to put it in,
we're gonna get into
I could live it there.
We are gonna get into it.
Yeah.
Mr. Wanga, how you feeling?
I'm good.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
That's what's up. Tell us a little bit about you.
Wanga. I'm just really just trying to discover myself.
Okay.
Yeah. Still trying to find ways of how to live life, being like a second born, but the eldest brother in the family. Yeah, it's kind of struggle where you have to fix things here and there, trying to make ends meet. Yeah, I grew up without a dad, so that's kind of hard. Never had anyone to talk to about it, Yeah. Mr. Echo talked about how he found Jesus. Personally, I can't say I really have already, but I feel like in the past few weeks this year, I feel like he's been communicating a lot to me, because I love music, secular music that is, but underground rap. But in the few times I've been going by the days, it's like a lot of gospel has just been in my mind, ringing here and there,
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I'm really just trying to discover who I am, honestly.
I got you. You talked about being a second born. Do you feel like a firstborn with the responsibilities you have to handle?
Yeah, most definitely, but sometimes my sister is always that handles a lot of issues.
Okay.
Yeah, because I didn't grow up with the entire family.
Okay.
Yeah. My mom, as she was going for work, she was moved by the company, gave her a house. So that was very far for me to go back to school. So I stayed with my aunt.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. But still more at that same place, I was still the oldest person. So I think just being the firstborn has always been there for me, you know.
Got you. It's a whole lot of responsibility.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's being a firstborn is a huge task.
Yeah.
I
You're a firstborn.
I'm a firstborn.
Oh, for real.
I'm a firstborn, and
Yeah?
and yeah, and we are boys.
Yeah.
2 boys.
Okay.
So you can imagine how much of a hurdle
Yeah.
it is, especially for a single parent,
Mm.
a woman. So I do understand, man, and I feel you.
Yeah.
I do understand what you're talking about. I'm a firstborn myself, and I do know how much of a responsibility it weighs on you. There's a lot that is expected from you.
True.
Yeah.
True. So I usually say this to girls. Like so away just from the first of all, away even from the weight of being a firstborn. In my circle of friends, I usually find that when you get to college as a gentleman, or even just when you reach a certain age, you start feeling extremely uncomfortable about asking your parents for money or for stuff, for Vaseline, for lotion, for airtime, for stuff. Like I found that in my circle of friends, like we got to that point real quick. And I'm talking to girls and they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm 27 and I still ask my parents. But I'm like, you have a full-time job. What do you mean you still ask your parents for stuff?
Wow.
So I was trying to explain to them, like, it's just being a young man, especially when you're a responsible young man and you're trying to take care of your family, trying to be responsible, that weight hits early. You start looking at your parents, you start understanding, the budgeting, the money, you start doing the math in your head. Okay, so they need to get this for me. I have 3 other Shani's. This doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I can't ask for this or I can't ask for that. Now, to switch that into being a firstborn, I'll start with you since you're the older of the 2 firstborns.
Yeah, it's all good.
When did it hit you and how did you come into, okay, I just gotta handle things. Like I need to try and be them, try and take on as much responsibility as I can. It's falling on me. How did that moment come to you? When did you realize that?
For me, I think it hit when I was really young.
How old?
I think let me just say about 16.
Around 16.
Yeah,
okay.
about 16.
Finishing grade 12, thereabout.
Yeah, let me just say about 16, somewhere there. You know? I think it hit.
Okay.
But even prior to that, like it's something that, it's something that was with me.
Okay.
It kept lingering there. I just sort of like one thing that I'm glad I grew up in is I never really grew up with this sense of entitlement of having to, let's say, look at my parents and say I'm supposed to get this, because I lost my dad at a very young age. I lost my dad at the age of 7. So Pop's 7 is no more, and my father was very manny.
Okay.
In that, even when he married my mother, he was a kind of a man who believed he had to provide everything for her. So she never needed a job or needed to do any business of any sort. So my mother was like a housewife.
Okay.
She did obviously have aspirations and whatnot, but my father was the money kind of a man. And so he believed in providing everything for his family. And my mother's job was to raise his children, of which, because of certain circumstances that are obviously not seen, my dad passed on when I was really young.
Okay.
And when my dad passed on, it was up to my mother to now raise 2 kids, boys to be specific, or by herself. Now, how does she do it? She's a single mother. She doesn't have any level of business experience and whatever. How does she do it? So it's from there that I think it began to sink with me that, okay, things are different here and I have to man up.
Gotcha.
And so even in me being a boy, my mother could always, my mom would tell, and she would obviously have conversations with me about life and just taking things very seriously. So I think from a very young age, I had to sort of like step up, the sense of being entitled to certain things wasn't with me. For instance, every average kid believes maybe when you are in grade, let's say 7, when you pass, you're supposed to get a bicycle. I think there's a time it was trending back then. Like it was the in thing. Like if you pass grade 7, your parents are supposed to get you a bicycle. For me, even when that happened, I didn't have the idea or the concept of feeling entitled to owning a bicycle. Why? Because my mother couldn't afford a bicycle. For us, we had to live by the day. And so there were just certain privileges that growing up as a kid, I wasn't entitled to. And somehow that stirred up the idea of me becoming responsible at a young age, because that is where the art of saving came in. If I have a little note, I have to take care of it, because maybe if I use that at school, my mom gave it to me to, let's say, buy popcorn or something. If I don't use it responsibly, I'm not going to have the next day. So that kind of that concept of saving and just maybe wanting to be responsible was groomed in me from a very young age, because from there, that's the money that I would save to buy kicks, to buy clothes. Sometimes maybe you like a pair of kicks, and then you see your friend at school's got these nice, kicks, and you like them, and you go and ask your mom, and your mom tells you, "Iwe, finish if you're in Jeba, I can't afford that." So you begin to take it upon yourself that money that she gives you per break time, you save it. And when you begin to save that money, you'll be able to buy that pair of kicks that you like, that your friend was bought for by his parents. So I think for me, it started around that time, and I began to grow from there. And before you know it, you become a grown-up person and you don't ask anybody for anything. You're independent. So I think for me, it pretty much started from there. And that's where the weight of being a firstborn started, like that responsibility itself. So
I got you. I'm gonna swing it back to you, Wanga. Same question, pretty much. So like, at what point does it hit you that, I'm not the firstborn, but I'm the firstborn male child, and it's different. I need to step up. There's certain things that I need to do. Like, how did you get into that space?
Okay, so it was, I think, around the time when I was like working. Yes.
Okay.
So growing up, I didn't like really get funds from my parents, aside from like school stuff. So when I went into school, when I started working, I was working for a fast food company.
Okay.
Yeah, so the money was coming in, so I was pretty excited about that. So every time I get money, it was like I just have to spend it, get some new kicks or some.
yeah.
Come on.
Plus, I think I was very much into women at that time, so
All right.
yeah. I'll probably,
Ladies, man.
Hey, man.
Yeah. So I'll probably get paid today in like a week.
All right.
I'm broke. But I'll still go for work, And then I think those around the time where I still had like some funds in me, and then I was promoted to being like a supervisor.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I was seated in the office, and then I'm seated, I'm listening to music there, and then I was thinking about like, how am I always getting money, but I don't have enough money. Yeah. There was a time when I tried to ask for some money from my mom, and she couldn't give me some money, but she got very emotional about it.
Yes.
She cried over the phone, and like that really hit me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sitting in the office one time, and then it bothers me a lot. Like, I get very emotional about it, saying, I've got 2 younger brothers plus 2 younger sisters as well, so I need to at least do something that's going to be very productive into the family, So, yeah, I think that was like around that time where it hit me. I'm supposed to get like responsibility about everything. And then I thought it was just going to be like something I can get into, you know, and it would be just because I'm like age older than everybody else, it would be okay. Yeah, still trying to like get things done because I didn't have like the right mindset of how that goes about. Yeah, so
Nobody showed you how to the ropes of this.
So it was very tough even when I took that decision.
Okay.
Yeah, because now you have to look at everyone's needs. Even though you can't manage, you know, it still bothers you, but like I still wanted to like take that responsibility with me because I knew exactly what I was bringing back to the table if I like pull up my stockings, you know.
Hey.
Wow.
Hey.
Interesting stuff. I mean, it's amazing to know that, you know, there are certain things that exist in almost all of us that are of common interest, but it's only when you get to have a conversation you'll be able to grasp and understand where someone is and where they're coming from.
Yeah.
So yeah, great stuff, man.
I have a feeling you got more to say.
I mean, you know, it's one thing to be a firstborn, and it's one thing to be a responsible firstborn.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
That is true.
when you it takes a lot to come to terms that, look, being born in a certain position requires you to be responsible. You know, there are just certain things that you cannot live out of. You have to be there. You know, you have to be there, whether you like it or not. It's expected of you. So, there are firstborns that obviously don't understand that narrative.
Yep.
And there are others that obviously understand. Not to say that they chose to be or to see things as they should, but it's required for them to do it. And it's something that is obviously very insightful to share and just talk about.
I gotcha. How do you handle it when you can't provide? When you can't solve a problem? Because there is rising to the occasion. Like what's common in what both of you were saying is there is you start to identify needs in the home. You know, conversation with your mom, right? Situation with your mom as well, asking her for something, and she's like, I don't got it, right? So understanding that there is a gap, there is a need, and then you try to rise to it. Now, we all know that it's not always when you can rise to the occasion and actually solve the problem. Okay. How do you handle those moments? How did you handle those moments? How did you transition from handling those moments then? How do you handle them now?
I think the first thing that is the first thing to do, of which I did not do, was to obviously be truthful.
Okay.
You have to be very honest. Like, you have to just come to terms where you're honest and just say, I want this to happen, but I can't make it happen right now. Like, you have to be very honest with yourself, of which in most cases is a problem. We are not honest with ourselves. I wasn't honest with myself. You know, now I am, obviously. I'm very frank with how I feel and how I look at the situation. And obviously now it's pretty easy for me to even have conversations with people that I trust about certain things that I perhaps want to change, and maybe I don't have the power to change them at that particular time. So I think the first thing to do is you have to be very honest with yourself. You have to tell yourself the truth and tell the people around you the truth. Whether bakumwena more or not, just tell them the truth. So I think for me, I wasn't very honest with myself.
Okay.
Yeah. And as a result, when you're not honest with yourself, you try to find means and ways of getting out of the situation by simply lying. And before you know it, it catches up with you.
Eish.
And when it catches
Yeah.
up with you, it's like a double impact of what should have actually been dealt with in the first place. So
Okay.
I saw that happen to me because obviously when something is maybe expected of you to do and you can't do it at that particular time,
Yeah.
when you're not being truthful, you'll lie. And what happens when you lie? It comes around again and it hits you twice as hard. So that in itself is a lesson. And as you grow, you begin to understand that I don't need to lie anymore. I need to be very frank and I need to tell the truth. So if I'm supposed to do this at this particular time, if it's expected for me to, let's say, contribute towards getting electricity, and then I don't have the resources. And by the way, this is where planning comes in.
Okay.
You have to be someone that has to, you need to plan. You need to see where you are financially. And if I told maybe which I to my piece work or you're doing something where you're getting something, you need to sort of like have, you see beyond. You see where you are, and from there it will help you to be honest enough with the people that you're living with and tell them, okay, maybe in this month, nishakwanishe uku ukita contribute ya malite. Nishi wala ndefshink. Not ile yako but you sort of like begin to give people false hope that you're going to do something when in actual sense you know it's not going to happen. So you're just supposed to be very honest with yourself, and most importantly, be honest with the people that you live with. Tell them the truth. So for me, I think that's how I learned how to deal with that over time.
Okay.
And till this day, I'm a very honest guy.
Gotcha.
Like, I've dealt with moments and times where I had to lie just so maybe I can make somebody feel comfortable that I'm going to do something. And then it comes back to me and it hits me even harder.
Yeah.
And worse off, we live in a society where, you know, even when you there's this, even when you tell somebody something, even when they know that it's not going to be fulfilled, they'll still come back at you, slap you in the face and tell you that you did not do it. So you're better off just being honest in the first place and deal with it there and then and just see where things go. So for me, I think I've learned how to deal with it like that. I say I've learned because it still happens till this day. You know, there are times and there are moments when things are rough, man. You know, where maybe you're supposed to take care of something.
Yeah.
I mean, now I'm grown. I mean, I live in my own house. I'm independent. I do whatever I feel like. I'm independent. But there are certain things that are expected of me.
Right.
You know, I need to take care for this. I need to take care for this. I need to do that on a monthly basis, every week, whatever. But there are moments when maybe I'm so tied up and I can't do it. I'm very frank and I'm honest. I say, I can't do this now. You have to wait. Or I can't do this. Maybe I'll do it. You know, you just tell the truth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Follow-up question with that. So, sure, you're honest in the situation. Hey, what you asked me to do, I cannot do it. This and that, this is the reason. And there are people and there are situations where talk about getting slapped back, you know.
Yeah.
So there is getting slapped for it and being called names, you know. I think that's also something that we definitely fear. You're like, oh, you're greedy, you just don't like to help, even though this is the first time you're probably not even, you're unable to do so. How do you deal with that? And if it's coming from somebody who you care about, you know.
Wow. I feel like you are unraveling something that I've dealt with for quite a while. You know,
Okay.
because it's very frustrating to be in a place where maybe you're trying so much
Yeah,
as a person, as a man.
I'm doing my best.
You're doing your best. And then even the very little that you know, put up forward,
It's treated like it's nothing.
somebody still comes and labels you selfish.
Nice.
You know, they label you greedy.
Yeah.
They say you are this, they say you are that. I think, let me put this out. Let me just say this. I believe by now, anyone that calls any person selfish does not understand the pool of where they get what they get comes from. Like you can't call somebody selfish when you don't have an idea of where what they've been giving you comes from. It's like a child who just wakes up every day and they believe daddy has to give me bread. Daddy has to give me bread. But they don't actually understand where daddy gets the bread from. The day daddy doesn't have the bread, that sense of entitlement in them always knowing that dad will always give them the bread. When the bread is not there, then they'll then say daddy is selfish. You can only label somebody selfish when you don't understand where what they've been giving you comes from. Because I, for one, know that a number of people that I've reached out to and asked for help, you know, when they help me, the next time around I ask them if they are unable to do so. It doesn't give me that liberty or the audacity to label them selfish.
Right.
It doesn't at all.
No.
It simply means I just don't understand. If I call them that, it simply means I have very little understanding of where they are and where they get whatever it is that they've been giving me for a long time.
It's also a big sense of entitlement.
Yes. And when you come to think of it, I think it's very it's very shallow, for lack of a better term. You know,
Right.
It's very shallow because you cannot label somebody selfish simply because they are unable to help you when you need them to.
True.
You can't.
True.
I think that's where understanding comes in. You know, that's where you sort of like need to reason with a person. You know, especially somebody that has always been there for you.
Yeah.
You know, you need to reason with them and try to see where you could actually meet. And like just having to label them this and that. No, it's just...
There's a great quote on that. It goes, you know who somebody truly is the day that they don't get their way with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
will.
It's like
You
that.
will, you will know who somebody
I mean,
is.
it's like that. You know, there are people that have helped people in so many ways.
Yeah.
But just because maybe there's something that they, let's say there's something that I really want from you. You know, you've done all this for me, but there's just something that I want from you at that particular time, and I'm very desperate. If you don't give it to me, I then feel the urge to label you selfish. That's not wise.
No.
That's not wise. It's like you're forgetting the bigger picture that has already been painted
True.
simply because a brush is not done in a proper way at that particular time. And I feel like that's just shallow, man.
I get you.
Yeah.
How do you process those emotions on the inside when it's coming from somebody that you love, you care about? You know, obviously we like to be, we're tough, but there's certain things when they come from somebody who you really care about, it hurts, bro.
Yeah, I think it goes with the person that you're dealing with. First of all, there are people in our lives that we know so well, and it requires you to have a certain level of tolerance. You tolerate them, and there are some people that you have to just be straight up with. I don't have a problem expressing myself.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never had that problem. If I don't like something, I'm going to tell you.
Like straight. You're direct.
I'm very direct.
Okay.
Yeah, people that know me. I'm very direct. Like if I don't like your behavior, I will tell you to your face. I don't care whether you're my colleague or no, I'll tell you. I'll tell you I have a problem with this and this is not cool.
So being a direct person, that has kind of helped you in those situations.
Yeah, because it helps you let things out.
Yeah,
it helps you let things out because sometimes it's not cool to actually be in the same room and yet you harbor so much inside that you're supposed to just lay off.
Okay.
So when you tell somebody exactly how you feel about a situation, you ease yourself. You ease yourself. And most importantly, that's a way of getting to a solution. That's why I said, I think it's very important to also know the people that you're dealing with. Because there are some people who, when you're very direct with them, they will have a problem. They will have a problem.
This is true.
If you were selfish in the first place, when you're direct with them and you tell them the truth and you express yourself, they will then capitalize on you to actually be something else.
Right.
So you're not just going to be selfish, greedy. You're just going to be this bad, terrible person, evil person, you know? So it also depends, how well do you know this person, and to what extent are you able to obviously let them know how you feel.
I got
But
you.
I try as much as I can to just be very honest and
I got you.
just
I'm going to follow up on this. Advice, you're a direct person, but there are people that aren't so direct. How can I get to a point where I don't have to lie? Because as men, we like to sometimes present an outer shell where I can solve all things. You know, I'm good. I'll sort it out. That. But then, you know, you're not being direct, you're not being honest with people. I'm going to get to that, but I want to swing it back to Mr.
I have a
One.
question for him.
yeah.
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
You said you always have to be very honest. Like, was it like always part of you that you were actually honest, or how did you get to a point where you actually started becoming honest with people about like certain things?
I think it's after just going through the furnace, man. When you go through the fire, when you go through life has a way of teaching all of us lessons, whether you like it or not. It doesn't matter whether you're handsome, you know, whether you're beautiful. Life has a way of teaching all of us lessons and taking us to a place where we are supposed to be in order for us to function as we should, whether you like it or not. It doesn't matter whether you think you're pretty, whether you're educated or you're not. If you're not frank and honest with yourself, life is going to be frank and honest with you. So for me, there are certain things that have happened in my life and in my upbringing and growing up as a man, where even when I wasn't honest with myself, even when I was lying, even when I would not tell myself the truth, life threw me in this space where I just had to be honest.
It forced you to.
Yeah, like it taught me a lesson. Like, dude,
Yo.
you just have to be honest, bro. 'Cause
Can I ask what happened in that situation?
I mean, so many things, you know. I can relate it in so many ways.
Okay.
Yeah, so many times it happened. One of the issues that I had a long time ago is I was very indecisive. Like I wouldn't make decisions.
Okay.
You know why? Because I sort of like looked at life as just a flow. You know, like
Just go with it.
follow. But life is not like that. You have to make decisions. And you have to make decisions to either be a lying person or a person that's going to tell the truth. You know, the Bible says the truth sets us free. We don't understand the weight of that context in the Bible. We don't understand the weight of what the truth does. Not just for other people, but for ourselves. So for me, what took me to such a place, I would say it's life. I'm grateful to God and I thank God I didn't have to find myself in one of the worst situations for me to actually learn and say, okay, I need to be very honest. There are certain things that I'm not proud of that have happened. And all those things just sort of like pushed me to that corner where I had to face the truth. And it's something that is bound to happen to any person. As long as you're a godly designed human being on the surface of this earth, it will catch up with you. It's just a matter of time. So whether you like it or not, like the truth will catch up with you. And when it catches up with you, you will value the idea of revealing it in the way that it's supposed to be. No two ways about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Also, you spoke about how you're a very direct person. Like, have you just always been like that, or did life bring you to a state where you just had to start becoming direct with things that you're facing?
I can say there are two ways about it.
Yeah.
For me personally, that's why I say it also depends with who you're dealing with. Yeah, there are people you can be direct with, and there are some people, even if you're being direct with them, they will not give you an opening of being direct with them. There are people who, our perspectives are different. Our backgrounds are different.
Sure.
I could have a conversation with Matumba about something and he would easily get it just like that and not get offended. Why? Because obviously life and just how he's grown up as a man, he's grown to this extent where he's developed a thicker skin. And so there's absolutely nothing that you could tell this brother that would offend him. He would try to understand what is your point of view and what are you trying to get at. And so it entirely depends on knowing who can you be direct with. Obviously, if I meet someone for the first time, I don't really know this person, I don't really have a conversation, and maybe they do something that I don't like, I can't just lash out at them at that particular time. They might take it offensive. So I need to find the approach of approaching them about the situation.
Right.
So it depends also on the environment. There are professional environments where it's expected for people to conduct themselves in a certain way. And so I do know of people, even in our workspace, where if there's a problem, and you walk up to them and you're direct with them, you tell them the truth. You tell them that they just messed up. The whole day they'll be disturbed. They'll go to the bathroom, cry, wipe their tears off, try to work, but they'll be disturbed the entire time. So when you get to know such people, you need to understand how you bring yourself in to make them understand where you are. Because people are different and they deal with things in their own way. So approach matters. Approach is very important. But however you choose to go about it, don't lie to them. Tell them the truth. Yeah.
Are you a direct person?
He looks like you look like you're not confrontational. Yeah. And that's good, because some people will punch you in the face. I try to be very confrontational, and sometimes it doesn't go very well. Yeah. That's where now the idea of knowing who you're dealing with comes in.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to be very wise about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like with myself, I don't really like to confront people about a lot of things. I think I'll probably just have a conversation with you in my head, After that, I think it's really just me having a conversation about it with myself, and then that brings in a lot of anger in me. So I find myself to be very upset most of the time when someone is doing things that I don't appreciate.
And as men also, just to add on, as men, we try to run away from being confrontational. Maybe if there's a problem, we somehow don't want to address the elephant in the room. We want to go about it in a certain way and whatnot. But what we should actually do is we need to be very honest. I don't know, there's just a way God has manufactured the truth. It just does something that is remarkably beautiful. Even when you don't want to face the situation at that particular time, when you're honest enough to actually just point out what the issue is at that time, you are not just helping yourself, you're helping the other person. And people might not even appreciate you at that time, but they will appreciate you later. There are so many people that are not in my life right now that I appreciate so much, because at some point they simply told me the truth. They looked at me in the eye and they told me, you're messing up and this doesn't make sense. And if you keep doing this, this is where it's going to land you. The selfish me that doesn't want to listen, the selfish me that wants to lie, and doesn't want to tell the truth is obviously going to feel some type of a way. But later on, I will get to appreciate the value of what they told me that was true in the first place. Yeah.
I get it.
It's like that.
Has it ever gotten you in trouble? Not being confrontational or not being direct?
I don't know. I think maybe a few times, but yeah, but like most of the times, I just really just like to like put
And I
aside.
just want to add on this. I think as men, God has designed us in a way that we have to confront issues. Yeah. Like God has just designed us in such a way. Because one of the most irritating things for a man is a man who runs away from problems. You know, like when there's a problem, when need arises or there's a problem, you know this guy is not going to be there. There are men like that. They were young and they've grown up like that. They run away from issues. They don't want to face issues. They don't want to deal with issues. Now, the idea of avoiding to be so confrontational sometimes feeds, you know, that gap. You begin to run away from issues that you're supposed to sort out. Why? Because you just don't want to face the situation. You know, and in most cases, you discover that we are going to be labeled as irresponsible. Why? Because we don't want to face the elephant in the room. We don't want to deal with the real issues. Because here's a man who has a family and maybe something happens and he's just quiet. Why? Because he's avoiding the idea of being confrontational. He doesn't want to face the issue and sort it out there and then. By virtue of him doing that, that's a problem. So it's like there's a problem, and then the idea of you ignoring that because you don't want to be confrontational, you're creating another bigger problem.
Becomes bigger.
Yeah. So it's very important. Like as men, we should just take up this stand of you know, just being very direct, and we need to face issues and sort them out as they should. Whether it makes us comfortable or not, we have to do it. It's our mandate. It's in our DNA, you know, to do it like that. So
Okay. But
Go for it.
the fact that the guys that don't like are not able to confront things, does that like also come with the fact that they're dealing with anxiety, or is it just like an element that's built in them?
Matumba, I don't know if you want to take that.
Sure.
Yeah.
So the question is, why don't they want to confront?
Yeah, does it bring does it
come
build
from-
anxiety in you, or does anxiety have anything to do with it? Like, because the people that deal with anxiety, and with that, they don't want to like confront things. You know? Yeah.
There are many issues. There are many issues to it. I think one of the underlying things we can look at is it's an uncomfortable situation. From sort of the discomfort of it is, if you put yourself in that uncomfortable situation of having to say this out, you'll be anxious. So you're even anxious before even as you're thinking to confront this person. Or maybe this is somebody you know is very their words are very harsh, or you know that they won't listen. You feel like it's not gonna change anything at all, or you know that the relationship between you and them is just gonna be riff. There's gonna be a riff in it. So it makes you uncomfortable. I think discomfort is at the center of it. Now, why are we uncomfortable? There are various reasons to that. It could be that we are not one. Could be that I am somebody who was never heard out. My upbringing, or I've just been in situations where I was never really encouraged to speak out. I never quite found my confidence to actually value my own voice. That no, in this room I need to speak out. My opinion matters. In class, I don't raise my hand even if I know the answer. I'm doubting myself, and that could come from many reasons. So that kind of a person as well, that kind of a man as well, put them in situations where they need to confront things, they would rather not. They'd rather die on the inside. That's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is passive. I don't care if the world burns. I just don't care. You know what I mean? It's this person, you've been disrespected, or you're working on a project with somebody and the person is not doing what they're supposed to be doing, and you're just nonchalant about it. Like, bro, I'm just here to live my life. I'm not here to confront. An auntie has said something about whatever, and it was the wrong thing to say, or whatever it is. You just don't care about issues, And back to Echo's point, it's you don't, because you know that if you speak out, now you need to take responsibility. You need to follow it through. Okay, so if I confront this, that means now I need to chair the meetings. Yeah. That means now I need to sit down that sister and that auntie no, you know what I mean? No, if I speak out about this at work, that means my boss might put it on my tab. So you find I don't want to be responsible. Being responsible is hard work. Like I have to pay the price for this entire thing. And maybe that kind of a person, where could that come from? I wasn't taught to care about things. I don't value things so much, maybe things came easy for me. I smashed my phone, mom is gonna get me another one. I drove my dad's car into there was no repercussion. There was never repercussions for my irresponsibility growing up or in any situations. Nobody ever confronts me. Nobody ever tells me I'm doing something wrong. When I get into those situations, I give a deaf ear. We know these people, they're friends where you're just like, bro, I can't believe you're quiet right now and you're just nonchalant about this situation. Yeah. It could be that. It could be that, right? So there are various reasons, but at the end of the day, it's the discomfort of it. But there are great repercussions to not. It takes courage. I won't lie to you. It takes courage to step up. It's an uncomfortable situation, but without uncomfortable conversations, nothing grows. Nothing grows. Take you back to the garden. That's why we're all here. When the snake popped up, I was like, yo, what up? So what you're trying to tell me is that you're telling me Jehovah actually said, y'all can't. Did he really say, did God really say that, if you eat of the fruit, he casts doubt into the woman's, they were having a conversation. Adam was right there. Now, a man is a prophet, he's a priest, he's a protector, he's a provider. He's a protector. You're telling me your girl was out here just talking to a snake and you were just chilling? It's almost like you're at the club and chilling, and then, or at the restaurant, you're talking to your girlfriend, and then somebody comes and starts having a conversation with your girl right when you're right there. Think of that. That's a no-no. He was quiet and passive when Lucifer was challenging God's wisdom in his wife's life. He didn't step up at all. He was nonchalant. He was quiet throughout the entire conversation. He let her eat of the apple. Now, did anything change when Eve ate the apple? No. Things only happened when Adam ate the apple. She saw the apple, she looked at it. Oh, it was good to eat. She took a bite. The Bible doesn't say, suddenly they realized they're naked and the Lord came down. Nothing, right? There's a responsibility we have as men. We can't run away from it. I think sometimes the men that also don't step up is because they know that I know I should be stepping up, but it's too heavy. It's too much. I know I should. I feel like it's innate in us. I feel like if you talk to any man, somehow, somewhere, they just know that they should be stepping up for their community. They just know that they should, but they know that it's heavy. You know, there's a mandate that is upon us as men of God. We carry a certain level of authority. So I think what can help as well is understanding the power that we have. You know, when a man says something, you know, there's a different level of authority that comes with it. Yeah, that is how I would answer that question. So anxiety, definitely a part of it. Do you have anxiety sometimes? I mean, I know I do. I think we all do. It's talking about, I do it. I'm nervous sometimes. I think we all do.
I mean,
Do you?
We all do.
Yeah, I think everybody has.
Yeah, we all do.
Yeah.
We all do. How do you handle yours? In situations where, okay, this is uncomfortable, but I need to step up and talk.
I don't know.
We're having an honest conversation.
I don't think I really had like a time to be honest about it and like confront things. Yeah, because like every time I try to speak about certain things, it's like every time I utter a word out, there's anger that's been lifted in me. So I just choose to like stay away from it most of the time. Yeah.
I actually get that though.
Like I think with the phones would probably be better. I'll probably text you about it like, oh, you know, I didn't like what you did, but like if I have to do it face to face, it's pretty hard for me to go about it.
Actually,
I get that.
and just to add on to that, do you actually know that a great percentage of the conversations we have via mobile phones, when we're trying to maybe communicate something very important, it could actually mean something else.
Yeah.
That's the danger in using. I'm one person that just can't stand text messages. I'm sorry. Like, if you're going to talk to me about something serious, you can't text me. Just don't text me. I can't stand text messages. I feel like, for lack of a better term, I feel like that is you not just manning up and just telling me what it is. And to a large, I don't know, I'm just coming from a traditional setup and how I've grown. I don't know. I feel like I'm old school a little bit. But to be very honest, it's like when you're in a relationship with somebody, I kind of find it weird that people these days break up via text message. It's over. Like, it's over. Excuse me. I don't know how to fire. Guys, send the text message. Like think of it this way. Think of how much. Think of the levels of confidence and swagger, if you had to put it, when you're trying to approach this girl that you like so much. Let's say maybe you're in school and there's this hot girl, you know, and you know there are like 2-3 other guys that like the same girl, and they're there talking to her, and you simply approach this girl, you get her number, and you feel like just sending a text message is enough. There's just something about talking to people that means well, and most importantly, shows them that you respect them in the first place. So the idea of, I don't know, obviously somebody has a different opinion about this, but the idea of solving issues out via text message, like, it's not cool. Some people actually take that to be very disrespectful. And even when we had to look at it in terms of communication, you know, if you spoke to me face to face about something that you really need from me, if at any point you had to retract whatever it is that you wanted from me, you're better off doing it the same way that you did it in the first place. So the idea of communicating with people, you sit them down over a cup of coffee and you talk about issues, is very respectable.
Okay.
It's just respectable. You can't, unless you don't, it just devalues people. I feel it devalues people. I can't talk to you about something that's very important via text message.
So let's create a bridge, right? So let's talk about how to get from point from point I'm so uncomfortable with having this conversation. As a man, as a young man, older man, whatever stage I'm at, I'm uncomfortable with having uncomfortable conversations. It's much easier for me to text, or it's much easier for me to call. In person, either I stumble over my words, one, or two, what he mentioned, anger, which is something I can relate with. You know, how do we create a bridge coming from text call to a point where a person is able to have those conversations, right? I think that, how do I say this? I think that each situation is different. You know what I mean? I can understand coming from a point of, okay, this I would rather, I would rather talk to you. I'd rather talk to you over the phone because I know that you're gonna misunderstand. You're gonna misunderstand a lot, and you might say something that might get me upset about this. You know, so either I would rather create time between the time when I tell you, or I would rather just call you, so that I can deal with this much more easier. I can understand that. I have done that before in situations. Okay, I don't have enough time to cool down about this entire situation, but I know that when I start talking to you, you start interrupting me. And I know that I'm gonna feel disrespected by how you're going about this, because I've given you enough time to talk, but you're gonna keep jumping. But this is too important. You know, like, you've gone too far with this situation, you know. But right now, I don't have enough time to cool myself down. This needs to be dealt now. Yes. In some situations, I would have rather, I'm gonna call you. Pick up the phone. It does dilute a lot of the communication sometimes, but better that. What I would throw in there is creating better strategies for communication. Now I'm at a point where I'm 0 to 100 already within me, but I can talk to you. Like I can talk to you. Like, I'm good. I am way overboard. My highest level of anger is actually, I'm very calm. Like, I talk very slowly when I'm completely upset.
Whoa.
Yes.
Wow.
Because
I want to learn that.
Yeah, me too. You know.
this is what happened.
I think I need to learn that. I think I'm trying.
That's what's up.
I think I'm trying.
All
now.
we can
I
do
think,
is
I
try.
think I'm trying because,
As men, all we can do is try.
I think I'm trying because, you know, there's nothing as being calm when you're really upset. It's hard, man. It's difficult.
I'll tell you what helped me.
But it's very powerful.
I'll tell you what helped me. So, growing up, I wasn't too good with my emotions. Like, I feel and think at the same level, at the same height level of, so I can overthink and I can overfeel. So it's like, there's too much going on within me. It's just better to just be silent, you know. So I wasn't always good at handling my emotions. But what I hate is being misunderstood. I hate so much when people twist your words. I hate so much when people take advantage of your vulnerable situation. Be like, oh, he's angry. Let me start throwing in facts that were not even there from the beginning. People start to twist things because you're emotional and you can't, you can't remember stuff, or they start to patronize you, or they start to interject. You know what I mean? Somebody's taking advantage of you because you're emotional, right? So I found myself in situations like that. So I don't want to be misunderstood. So the moment that I realized that, okay, I'm on 0, I've gone to 100 right now, awareness, get aware of the situation. Okay, I'm upset. Breathe, pause. I need to start talking slower so that you completely understand me and you have no excuses. That's why I'm talking slower. 2, I begin to ask questions. I do not want to misunderstand you, because if I'm already pissed, there's a direction where this is going right now. And I just need to make sure that I also don't want to make a decision out of anger. Because there's some things you can't repair. You know, you can't repair certain things. These are people you care about as well. You know, especially if somebody can get you that upset, you probably care a lot about the topic, or you care a lot about them. So it's, how can I be very responsible with myself and very responsible with you? So that is where that drew me. Relationships have broken, people have misunderstood, words have been twisted. That I would rather, if we're gonna part ways with this situation, I was in my right mind. I said the right thing. I completely understood that you intentionally decided to disrespect me, or you intentionally decided to do what you did. So that is what got me to that point. That's what drives me. I think you find something that drives you. You know, why should you handle this? Wanga, why should you handle this situation the right way? Why is this topic important? If it's that important, you will find a way. You know, you will work through it, you know. So yeah, that helped. You mentioned something earlier about the confrontation and saying the truth. With that, you know what helped me? If I don't tell you the truth, I don't think I want you to grow. I don't think I want you to grow. One of the things that you can do to somebody is just don't tell them the truth. Just hold it back from them. So if Echo's my friend, we know each other, right? But if I don't want Echo to grow and he's doing something to offend me, the worst thing I can do for him is not tell him. Most of the time we think that we're doing people a favor by not being honest. Be like, let me just not tell you about this situation. Let me just not tell you that you hurt me. Let me just not tell you that you're jokes, bro. No, let me just not tell you that I hate how you treat the room and how you talk to people, or how you're even talking to me. Let me just not tell you. You're not helping the person at all. It's actually, what does the Bible say? Public rebuke is better than secret love. Basically, it's better for me to tell you the truth in public than to love you secretly. Peter and Paul in the Bible, it's a famous passage where Paul rebukes Peter publicly, and we know who Peter is. Peter is the apostle, only man to walk on water. But Paul found it necessary to rebuke him in public as well for the importance of why this was an important topic. Other people needed to see him get rebuked. It doesn't have to come from a place of hurt. The person that loves you the most is the person that can tell you the truth in love, you know. So the people in your life, bro, that are telling you the truth, like, Wanga, okay, bro, I think you need to stop doing this, you know. I think they love you. Even if it hurts, even if you argue, people need to be able to tell you the truth. So that's what motivates me when I'm, I'm uncomfortable about telling this person this and having this conversation, but what would I want? I love the truth. I'm direct too. Just tell me the truth. Tell me the truth, because in truth you can use truth. Truth is powerful. It's like if we turn off the lights in this room, it's gonna be dark. We can't navigate ourselves. But the truth, you can navigate it. I hate this, and I hate that about you, and I think you do this, I think you do that. I'm your friend. I have seen you. You're not looking at yourself. Listen, you're not looking at yourself. I'm the one around you. Do you think I hate you? No. So you know I love you, right? So dude, you know that when I'm telling you this, what do I have to earn? What do I have to earn from telling you this? We have to be able to look people in the eye and tell them that I am your brother. I am stuck with you. Whatever your win is my win. Whatever your loss is my loss. There's nothing I gain from pulling you down. So I'm telling you this from love, okay? And sure, people get upset. You know, sure, people take time, you know? People don't take it well.
Yeah.
But you need to be consoled by the fact that I'm doing this out of love.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So that is what I would add to that.
Nice.
Anybody want to jump in?
You wanna add on to that?
Questions around that?
I think I'm good now. It's clear. I mean, I wasn't expecting this, but I mean, there's a lot of insight there actually, like you guys have put out there, you know. Yeah.
Wow.
You want to jump to this?
That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I personally just, you know, feel it's very important to even just have, you need to have people around you that are honest enough with you.
Right.
You know, people that are willing to tell you the truth to your face. And I feel like, especially for our generation, this is the biggest problem. We lack friends and people that can look us in the eye and tell us the truth.
Right. True.
We're in relationships with people that can't look us in the eye and tell us the truth. You know why? Because they feel like the very minute they dispose it off, it's going to make you feel some type of a way, and then you're going to walk away. But you're better off being with people that are going to tell you the truth, even if it makes you uncomfortable, even if it breaks you down.
Right.
But they need to tell you the truth. They tell you, listen, what you're doing right now, you need to stop. It doesn't make sense. It simply means they love you enough to see you do better. You know, so I think it's very, very, very important to identify people. You know, people in your life. I call them quality people. People of quality. People that are going to rebuke you. People that are going to, I mean, they'll tell it to you as it is. You know, it's very, very important to identify such people. I somehow, as I grow older, I begin to question some of my relationships, some of my friends. You know, is this friendship worthy? Because how is it that I was able to do that and that and that, and this person is my friend? How is it that you're running in the same circles and you're not growing as a person, and you still label these people your friends?
Right.
It simply means there are conversations that you should be having with your friends that you're not having. You know, and so we have a lot of friends who are our friends that are not friends.
True.
They're not our friends, and they lie to us, and they make us feel so comfortable in that space of stupidity. And the people out there see that and they laugh at us, and we think they are our friends. They are not our friends. And an average person that is young, if you walk up to them today and you told them, do you actually know that that's not your friend and that's not your friend? One of the questions they will ask you is, what do you mean? What do you know about them? You don't know where I'm coming with this person and what we've been through. That doesn't matter. How honest are they with you? Do they tell you the truth? Do they bring out the best in you as a person? Do they challenge you? You know, do they put you in a space where they provoke you and how you think? Because those are people that you're supposed to be with.
Right.
Because as friends, you're not just going to be people that you hang out, eat together, talk about money, and no. Like, they need to be honest with you. You need people that are going to challenge you. So it's also very key for us to identify quality individuals in our lives. We need such people. You know, there's a saying that goes that if you play with 4 broke people, then you're the 5th one. You know? You're the 5th one. Not to say that you can be friends with broke people. That's not what I'm saying. But metaphorically speaking, if you're with the people who reason at the same level as you, you're not going to grow. You're not going to be challenged to be a better person. You're just going to be at that level with them. And you're going to make funny and silly decisions. And they'll be there with you to even make more silly decisions. And that's very, very disappointing. And that's not growth, to be honest. That's not growth. You discover that you're this 40-year-old person that is so stagnant. Why? Because you've been around with people that are just wrong individuals. They make you feel good, but they don't challenge you in any way. So it's very, very important to identify the people around you. And that's why I think even as believers, you know, we are constantly pushed in the direction of identifying mentors.
Yeah.
You know, people that can mentor you. And mentors, you know, sometimes I don't know why we run away from mentors and whatnot. But, you know, mentors are very important because I've learned that as a young person, you need to have at least 1 or 2 people that you are going to give account you're going to give account to them about how your life is doing and what you're doing. Accountability is very important. The biggest problem we have as this young generation is we don't have people that we are accountable to. We don't have people that, let's say you do something wrong. Okay? When you do something wrong, God sees you. God has seen that you've done something wrong. Okay? But when you don't have someone that you're accountable to, you will not feel the need to face the wrong that you've done on an account of you being accountable. So you always find an scapegoat. And the more you do that, the more it becomes worse. When you ask a number of us that have had habits that we've held on for a long time, certain things that we've been doing for a long time, it's simply because we've been hiding it. We keep it to ourselves. We know God doesn't like us doing this, but there is no one single person that we can be accountable to about the things that we have done that are wrong.
Right.
And at the end of the day, that begins to pile up and grow. And you discover that because you're not accountable to anyone, you just go about life in a way that doesn't actually make sense. When you're accountable to someone, you're going to tell them, I just messed up, I did this. And you know what they will do? They will rebuke you. They will tell you the truth. They will tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. They'll tell you what you need to hear. And as a result, you grow like that. We grow like that and we become better individuals. That is why mentors are very important. Mentors are very important. They play a very huge role in our lives, They do that. Some of us there are people that we are accountable to. It could be your mother, it could be your father, it could be an uncle, but you need someone to be accountable to. That person has to be your mentor, someone who's going to be very direct with you. They will tell you the truth. They will not lie to you or no, they will tell you the truth. God is someone that we will be, obviously, we'll give an account of our lives and whatnot at some point. But we live as though God is not even in the picture of this life. God is often overlooked because a number of times we do things that are wrong and we do things that just don't make sense. We don't care about God, It's like the idea of just having to fear God is not there. So if we live like that, then we are dead. It simply means we are free to do any and everything that we feel like doing. So mentors are very important. People we can be accountable to. Those people will tell us the truth. Those people will rebuke us. When they hear that you did this, they will come to you, fetch you out of the house, and we need that. You need that. I need that. We all need that as young people. It's very, very important. If we desire to grow, we need people in our lives that we can be accountable to. It's important. It could be friends, it could be family, but it's important to identify someone. And that person doesn't have to be at the same level where you are. So that's just what I wanted to add on. And I think it's very key and it's very, very important as far as accountability and just growing up to be a responsible person. Because, some of us have gotten to learn and know certain things at a later stage in our lives. And when you look back, you would wish, at the level or at the young age like Wanga, if I knew ABC right now, I'll probably, be better. Because I feel we're in an age of so much information, of which I think it's really beautiful and it's a great privilege to the young people. I'm young, but there are others that are younger than me, young men and women. And because of this age of so much information, it should now make it easier for the young people to even grow up in a great way, because there's so much to explore as far as wisdom is concerned. There's so much information. Now, information is everywhere. So these are very, very important conversations we need to be having with ourselves, with our peers, and the people around us, for us to be challenged to be better.
I got you.
Yeah.
Any questions on that?
No.
Oh, at this point, you're just like, okay, all right. This we have.
Yeah. So if you don't have a mentor, get a mentor. You know, there are so many people you could walk up to and just say, hey, look, my passion is ABC. I'm passionate about doing this and this. And I just need you to mentor me. You know, just I need to be accountable to someone. And if you're that person that can tell me the truth, I would really appreciate. You know, that's where teachers come in, and that's why it's very important.
How did you get to the point where you acknowledged that you wanted mentorship? That's with the joining of the Undaunted Man.
I think I was going through like a rough time with myself, yeah. And then I didn't know who else to talk to. Most of the time I would like talk to my sister about a lot of things. Yeah. Would like my sister is like always working most of the time. She comes back late, so sometimes I'll go with her, and then when we're back home, and then we have like conversations like that, just being honest with each other, you know. Here and there. Yeah, but so there was a time when I was going through like some stuff, and then I spoke to my sister about it, and then she actually said, "Nah, I think you can actually talk to Mr. Lusaka about this." Yeah, and then
Jordan.
yeah,
Bruh, why you gonna do that? The man just respected Jordan Lusaka.
He said Mr. Lusaka.
yeah. So
Yeah.
By the way, Jordan was actually like my first music manager.
Awesome.
People don't know this, but man, I've seen him come from way back, so it's good to see him where he is now.
It's a nice little fact.
Yeah.
So your sister recommended that you could talk to Mr. Jordan Lusaka. Go on.
yeah, so actually knew Mr. Lusaka from church.
Right.
Yeah. I just like every time I would see him from afar, you know, and then he was like this man that's very confident. You know? Yeah.
I mean, he's got that radio voice as well. You know? And the English.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys actually sound the same when you talk.
Oh, okay. Hold up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I always like used to look at him from afar, you know.
Right.
Yeah. And he had like qualities that I always wanted to have in myself, like.
Which, do you mind expanding on those qualities?
Yeah, like his confidence, you know.
Okay.
I don't think I'm very confident when it comes to a lot of things. So I just used to look at him from afar and never really like had a conversation with him. Unless my sister is like by my side, they're talking, and I just shake his hand like, yo, what's up? Yeah. So when my sister told me to actually talk to him, so she sent me his number. Then I didn't hesitate because I knew when my sister was recommending him, she knew exactly this is the person I was gonna like, that's gonna help me.
Right.
So I quickly like sent him a text, asked to like meet with him in person. Then he told me, yeah, the girl's actually going to be having like church rehearsals. Yeah, I'll be taking my wife there as well. So why don't you pull up? Yeah, so I got there. I found him was having a meeting with like one of the guys on Undaunted Men. Yeah. I stayed there for like at least 15 minutes of the meeting, heard what he was talking about. So to me, it felt like I was already in the right place.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It gave me the confidence for me to actually like open up to him about what I was going through and what I really wanted from him. We had a conversation that night, you know, and then he said, nah, it's cool. I'll take you in, you know. And I really appreciate him for that, because it's not easy for like us young guys to actually walk out to someone of another generation and ask for help from him, because we're all stuck in a space where we feel like we're already confident, or you know, maybe we can just drown the pain in like liquor, or you know,
No.
some smoke or some.
Big ups. Don't mean to interrupt you, but I need to give you props for that. You are absolutely right. How old are you, if you don't mind saying?
I'm 24.
You're 24.
Yeah.
What you mentioned is very important. It's cardinal. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. A lot of young people feel like they already know it all, or they find it hard to share with somebody, either for the fear of being shamed, you know, which does happen. It's a real fear. So the fact that you found the courage to actually hit Jordan up and say, "Hey, I need help. Can I talk to you?" Big ups on you. That took a lot of courage. So you might not be giving yourself a lot of credit when it comes to to being courageous, but that took a lot of courage. Big ups to you. As you were saying, go on.
Appreciate. So yeah, a lot of us don't have like enough confidence. You know, sometimes we resort into like maybe liquor or cracking jokes about someone. You know, just to make yourself feel comfortable about it.
Yeah.
You become the bully. You become, you know, so most of these days you find there's a lot of young guys that hang around in groups. Yeah, so you always find that one person that's always just talking things that don't even make sense most of the time. There will be other people that become very uncomfortable with what they're being told, but because, you know, they're probably the coolest people around in the streets, so you just still you're stuck around those guys trying to hang out with them. But yeah, so when I go to like Mr. Lusaka, he actually gave me like a lot of insight, you know. Yeah, and I explained to him what was going on with me, and he was very brutal about it. Like, I wasn't expecting him to tell me what he did, you know. But it was very honest that he told me. The things he was saying were very honest to me, and I was like, "Ish, why am I here first?" You know? Yeah, but I still stuck around and heard everything he was telling me about, and then he gave me some insight here and there, you know, and then he said, "Nah, no problem, I can take you in." Then he said, I think there's a point where he said, "Because you know me, and you might be uncomfortable to tell me certain things, I might recommend you someone else." You know, he was willing to hand me over to someone that I can be honest again to. But I was very happy that I actually went on with him. Yeah. And I'm still looking forward to like doing a lot of great stuff with him, because I know he's got like, you know.
So to explain to everybody who's listening, to explain a bit on that. So the way the Undaunted Men mentorship is set up is we have classes every fortnight on Tuesdays, but each participant has a specific mentor who's over them. So the one that's over you is Mr. Jordan. You guys will be having, I'm sure you've had several sessions. The one that you're explaining, that was a session. Yeah. So that's the structure of that. I had a question. Where have you gone? Question. My God, Holy Spirit, what's going on? Anyway, pivot to the next area. Have you guys noticed how your stories are very similar, though? There's quite a number of parallels. And the parallel I would like to touch on is you talked about losing your dad at a young age, at 7. And Wanga, you mentioned that you didn't have your dad in your life. Is it also?
Yeah, my dad passed on, I think, like 13 years ago.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I got
How
you.
old were you then? What? You were like,
I think I was like 14. That was like around the time when our youngest brother was just born. So, yeah, he was just like a few months old.
Got you. So with that, I'd like to touch on not having much of a guidance coming up. You talked about how you were figuring out things pretty much on your own as a young man. So the pushing, the entrepreneurship side of things, the responsibility side of things, Wanga, you also pretty much touched on that as well. Talk to us about the the importance of father figures, male figures in our lives as we are growing, as we are becoming men. Kind of remembered what I was going to touch on. It segues into this. You spoke about how Jordan was very brutal. Most people do not realize that there's a very big difference between how a woman will guide and how a man will guide. Have you noticed how Echo has been speaking? How Echo has been speaking. It's very strong. No, it's this.
Yeah.
You know, so sometimes young men as well get uncomfortable with that because they've never really been around that. Like, wait, do you hate me? Like, why are you so direct? Why is this so? But then that's an authoritative voice, you know. Like, and we need both. We need our women, we need our mothers, but we also need our fathers to step in with that. So I need you guys to, the gap that left in your lives. Echo, you wanna jump in first?
Ish, man. It's huge, man. And I learned so much about it now. I can actually say like just 2-3 years ago, my kid brother has a baby, you know, my beautiful niece, and I'm like her father, you know, like whatever she needs, you know, she calls me. I've been there from the time that she was born, you know, and she's actually turning 3 this year in November.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a proud uncle. I love her so much. It is with her that I've begun to sort of like understand something that I maybe missed out on, you know, at my age, you know. I mean, there were obviously a few. Me losing my dad at a very young age caused me to shift my focus. My emotions were very detached from the idea of having to even maybe sit around and just wish that I would have a father, you know. I was so detached.
Right.
My emotions were so detached, and I began to look at other people as father figures. And for me, the people that became father figures, obviously through watching television, it's the music, you know, the rappers, you know, the guys. So I started talking like them, you know, because for me that was the closest I think I would look at as a father figure, you know, these rappers and the way they used to dress and the way they talk and everything. So their lifestyle sort of like became mine. But over the years, one of the most beautiful things I've come to learn is that there's nothing as beautiful as the father-son or father-daughter relationship. Like, it's just beautiful. And it's something that I've been learning with my niece, because sometimes, you know, she can't really like have a conversation with me, but I go to extents where I understand her. Like, I feel what she's saying, and I get what she's saying and what she needs, and I would provide, you know. It feels really good.
Gotcha.
It feels really good. So growing up, I was very detached emotionally. Like, I was very detached because even when I would go to school and maybe I see, let's say, my friends being picked up by their fathers, and for me, it got to a point where I wasn't feeling bad anymore. Why? Because that side of me, I just closed up. That side of me emotionally, I just closed up. And I did it for my own good, to protect myself. Because later on, when I grow at a certain stage, I understood that, so if I carried on to envy this life that I know I would never have or get from anybody else, it would have injured me in a certain way. You know, so I think what happened is obviously very unfortunate, but I can't say I was in control of the situation. But I got to learn to detach that side of myself.
Okay.
Yeah, but today I'm glad I have nieces, I have young people that look up to me and they see a brother, they see a father figure.
Yeah. You
You
can
know, I
be
might be a
that
young
which,
person, but they see that in me, you know.
yeah, you can
And
be that which you missed.
yeah,
very much.
and I feel like the whole idea of just being like very strong is something that is in every man, you know. But you have to embrace whatever it is that you've been through and just
Right.
surrender it to God. And for me, I feel like God made it possible for me, because on my own, I don't think it would have been possible. Because every time I needed to man up and just be that, there wasn't anybody who would talk to me about that.
Right.
You know, so God somehow created avenues, and I learned that.
Help
I
fill
learned that
it
in
up.
so many ways, and today I'm glad. I'm not like a weakling, you know. I'm not like no. Like I'm one. I think I'm very aggressive. I think I'm one of the most aggressive people out here, but I try as much as I can to hold myself back. And I appreciate everything that I've been through. It's been a lesson on its own, and it's God that has actually made it possible. So for me, it's really intense, man.
I got you.
Yeah.
Wanga, want to jump in on that? What's that gap been like for you?
It's actually been very tough, like for me, because I felt like maybe if he was still around, I probably would like do certain things way better than I do them. You know, I probably would love more, or I probably would be man enough, you know, at this age, or I'll probably do things in a certain way that I didn't expect myself to be doing them. But I just like, it took me a while for me to like detach myself and accept the fact that he was not going to be there for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when that happened, I feel like there was a part of me that just like shut down. Yeah.
Yeah.
When that part of me shut down, there were like a lot of things that I started doing that was not so, I wouldn't say I'm very proud of, you know, but I engaged myself into certain things that I can't say I'm very proud of to today, but at least I'm getting over those things day by day.
Progress.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And I'm just hoping like in due time, you know, God gives me enough courage, enough resources for me to be like a father figure to my younger brothers. Because
Gotcha.
I know them too need someone like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. As they keep growing, at least they should have the confidence to confide in me. Yeah.
Yeah, and I should just add on something. I think you said something about you look forward to a time when you're gonna have like the resources and whatnot.
Yeah.
One thing that I can tell you is you have the resources now. One of the resources you have is time. You know, time is very, very important. And one of the things you need to do deliberately and intentionally is you need to spend quality time with your siblings. It's very, very important. I'm stemming from a place where it was only myself and my kid brother, you know. But as we grow older, the whole idea of just wanting to make money, you know, you just want to make money, you just want to fend for your family. You're looking for stability, and you're trying to get there financially. You discover that there's less of you that you dedicate towards spending time with your siblings.
Caught up in the hustle.
Exactly. And what happens is you get to grow apart. You get to grow apart. I only have like my kid brother. And I saw that happen for me for like a very long time. You know, we grew apart. And it's not like I was in another country and whatnot. So we grew so apart. And before you know it, he becomes something else that even I could not believe or could recognize. And so one thing that you already have the resource of time. Spend a lot of quality time with your siblings. Don't wait for that time where you start making money or you start driving and whatnot. No. Dedicate your time now. Dedicate your time now and begin to cultivate the whole ambience and atmosphere of growing up as you should. Because bonding is very important and it doesn't come with money. It comes with time and you have to be very deliberate. You know, you have to be very intentional and whatnot. Because if you were to tell yourself that you need to wait till a time when you start making money so you can make things happen, it's never going to happen. Because when you get to that point, you'll probably be more busy, committed to making more money, and you will never have time for your siblings. So I would advise you to actually use time as the greatest resource that you have right now. Yeah.
Word up. We have come to the end of an amazing episode. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming through. Before we do say our goodbyes, there are two things that we do on this show. One is Resource Center, and the other is the King's Affirmation. So, Resource Center. What books are you reading? What podcasts are you listening to? Which influencers are you following? What articles are you reading? What's helping you, now or throughout your entire life? Hey, this person helped. You need to follow this person. Hey, this movie helped. This series helped. 1, 2, or 3. What you got? What is Mr. Echo feeding?
Book for now. There's a book called Atomic Habits. Yeah, James Clear.
Gotcha.
It's a great book. I was introduced to it by some colleagues of mine at work. It's a great book. Mentors. Wow. I have so many people that mentor me, man. Like what I mean is I draw inspiration from so many people. Yeah. Okay. My mentor right now, if I had to point at one person, wow.
Well, give somebody that you follow. Not somebody who's a personal mentor.
Someone that I follow.
That people can follow out. Oh, hey, this is a good man. Follow him. Or this is a good space, a good website.
Somebody that I can recommend anybody to follow is Vodi Bolcom.
Vodi. Yeah. He's good.
Yeah, like I get so much from Vodi. And what I mean is like right now I'm about to actually like purchase some of his books, nice. But I follow him online. Every time whenever he puts something up, I'm out there looking at it. I'm on the internet looking out for his content. I feed on that stuff. I feed on that stuff a lot. Vodi Bolcom for me. I think even if you follow me on WhatsApp or I haven't been on social media from last year, like October. It's going to be a year now. Yeah. Reasons is because I just switched off. I just needed to sort of like, there's some things that I was dealing with and I needed to sort of just like shift a little bit. Okay. And I'm glad I love the space that I'm in right now. And yeah, I think that's somebody that I would recommend.
Dope. Yeah. Now for the final part. It's called the King's Affirmation.
Yeah.
So this is where I ask the guest to, people don't really affirm us as men, as young men. We are the ones that are usually doing that. So usually I ask my guest to affirm somebody listening in right now. But we do have a young man who seems in many ways to be in a couple shoes that you've been in. So even as you were talking about, hey, I learned this lesson about trying to push and hustle so much, there was that perspective. I'm gonna need you to affirm him. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the Holy Spirit says upon you
Wow.
to say to him. Pressure?
Yeah.
Let's go, but you got this though. Whatever the Holy Spirit tells you to say unto him and affirm him.
I don't know how you want me to say it though.
Say it however it is. Oh, how I wanted you to say it?
Yeah.
Listen, this is your little brother, and you want to encourage him in life.
Yeah.
That's the perspective. Look at him,
encourage
him in life. That's the angle. Whatever the Holy Spirit says upon you, that'll be your king's affirmation. Whenever you're ready.
Wanga. Work. Get to work, man. Like if there's one thing I could tell you right now, get to work. Don't sleep. Get to work. And what I mean by get to work, I mean it in the sense of every area and space of your life. Spiritually, career-wise, education, whatever it is. You know, I don't know exactly where your life has been for the longest time, but one thing I could tell you is get to work. Don't care about the idea of trying to be out there and doing whatever it is that everybody's doing. Get to work. Get to work. If there are certain things that you desire to have right now, or maybe you've been pushing yourself to doing that are not in line with the purpose where your life is supposed to be, live them out. Just get to work. Work. At this age, get to work, man. Just get to work. Get to work for God. Get to work as far as your career is concerned. You know, get to work as far as your spirituality is concerned. Get to work as far as your family is concerned. And get to work as far as your future and whatever aspirations you desire to come alive. Just get to work. Don't relax, don't chill. Get to work. Yeah.
Got you. I'm gonna give you one too. You wanna
He looking
You okay?
at me.
Yeah.
You wanna respond to that?
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, appreciate.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I do. Cause you know, not everybody can actually like tell you stuff like this. Yeah, so I really do appreciate the words that coming from him. You know.
Yeah, man. I mean, for me, to be honest, man, I'm sorry. Like, if I was your age and I was in a place where I could obviously have conversations like this, not to say that I look at my life now, I'm like, no. But there's so much that is being imparted in young people these days. There's so much that is being imparted in you. You're part of a mentorship program where you interact with people like, you know what I mean, Jordan, all these people. Like, there's so much that is available for you. Why should you fail? You know? A young person living in this generation cannot fail. If you choose to fail, that's you. If you choose to fail, that's just you. Because how I look at it, with all this information, with all this greatness that is, you can't fail, man. You know what I mean? So get to work. Work, man. That's one thing I can tell you. Just get to work. Yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen,
I thought you was gonna tell it.
I was going to, but I'm like, this has been left at such a great point, and he's part of the mentorship program. I got you.
Wow.
Unless you want me to go.
I mean, I don't know. You want to say something? You can just put it out, you know. Or you have
Alright.
like enough, so.
All right. All right. All right, Holy Spirit, what do you want to do? You're enough, dude. You're enough, and you have time to work on yourself. Work on your confidence. You can get it to a level where you want it to. You're enough as a young man. You can achieve the things that you want to achieve. Trust God to help you. If you try and carry this burden that you're feeling for yourself, for your family as a young man in this generation, it's going to break you if you try and carry it on your own, though. You're not on your own. You have God. You have the Holy Spirit. Ask Him for help. He will come through for you in ways that you never thought. You're going to have a relationship with Him that you never thought you could have. And in all the gaps that women cannot fill in, He will be there. Sounds like a joke. Sounds strange. Well, God is strange. Okay? And He is a father to the fatherless. And He's always been there in every situation. The fact that you're still here, the fact that your family is still standing, recognize that God has been there. Recognize that to God you're a superstar. Recognize that to God you're His baby boy. Recognize to God that you are a man that He sees can become into the man that He desires you to be. Recognize that His eyes are on you. Recognize that He's paying attention to you. Recognize that He listens to your prayers. Recognize that He has been coming through for you. Acknowledge Him. Recognize it. You're going to be all right. That's my king's affirmation to you, sir.
Yeah.
All right, we need to end this. Wanga, I appreciate you for coming. I appreciate you for being brave to sharing your heart, being part of the conversation. Echo, I appreciate your candidness, sir. I appreciate you for coming through. We're going to do this again sometime.
I'm always here, man. Just let's do this, man.
That's what's up, ladies and gentlemen. And that was the men's table. Thank you for joining us. Peace.